Hail, bird of prey. 5. Hail, Karuga.
Qapla!
Qapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Esri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird O' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Bird O' Prey 5. Qapla. And happy Father's Day on this June 16th, 2024. I admit it, the day almost got past me where I realized the importance of the date. Without Dad O'Prey around these days, Father's Day doesn't really have the appeal it used to. But it is an important day nonetheless. And this year more than most in a while, we are missing Dad O'Prey. And
Captain's log
away
7414.1. Our
we
best
haven't
estimates place us some 4 hours
haven't
from
in a
Earth.
long time, at least to me. Mom O'Prey confirming it is indeed all of us. There is, I'm not going to go into details, but family drama going on, but the kind that you asked yourself, what would Dad O'Prey have done? You kind of feel stupid, probably. And at least I would. Not us. It's not between, this is not drama between Sis O'Prey and myself. No. This is bigger drama concerning further people in the family, and also, I mean, family members we absolutely love. There is no change, but it's harder to look at them seriously than it was a week ago or a month ago. Are you serious about this? Are you the same person who can throw any number of activities out there, who, who borrowed my car for free, and then I refused to accept it back from you. I insisted I buy it back from you because I knew you could use the money and I had extra at the time. And it just seemed like the right thing to do. And other things to that nature, to paying debts not actually owed, and ignoring promises to be reimbursed for spending money I didn't need to spend. And then to hear that when it was their time to do the right thing, they chose poorly. Let's put it that way. Any Indiana Jones fan understands the revelation. They chose poorly. You kind of don't expect it from your family, but I was always of the idea, this is why you don't go into business with family. And by into business, I mean you don't do anything with money and family. And if family needs money, you just give them money. You don't lend it, you give it. You don't expect to get it back. If you do, great. But if you don't expect it. And that said, when it came to that in the past and family needed money and they wanted loans, I didn't give them loans. I just gave them the money. Anyway. Thank you, John Araki, for the 99-cent super sticker. And thank you to the lovely Yvette with a £5 sterling super chat. Says for all rip dads, rest in peace, dads, including mine, happy Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to all that are still with us. XXX. Thank you from the lovely Yvette for that. Absolutely wonderful for everybody whose father is not with us, and for those of you blessed whose fathers are with you. Happy Father's Day. Indeed, and a happy Father's Day to the new fathers out there, like Randa Menace and the others. Gorilla, are you new? I don't know how new you are, but I know there are some newbies out there. Congratulations to you guys. I always hoped I'd be on that side, but it's not looking likely. It's not looking likely that I'll be a dad. So, nevertheless, I have wisdom to share. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says Qapla Bird. Father's Day is in the middle of Pride Month. The best way to settle both would be 30 minutes of kissing Dax. Perhaps. Arabic Sander says Qapla. Qapla Arabic. Schwario says Qapla Bird. Hope you and the other Oprays are doing well today. I'm thinking of my late father today, too. Indeed. Mike Richards is Bird Opry 5, is the father of Karoga. And Mike Richards was first in the chat today. He says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. Thank you. Thank you indeed. And I had no intention of streaming over any regular streamers. Unfortunately, I had no idea Salty was about to go live, and basically went live 10 minutes before I did. Unfortunately, by that time, I had already pretty much committed to going live. I had set up the stream and everything, and I strongly considered not going live, but whatever. There's room for everybody, and I don't really need a lot of people here. I'm just gonna talk out what's going on, the situation, how we would miss Dad O'Prey in a situation like this. And if nobody listens, that's fine with me. I don't. I just need to talk this out. So, Dad O'Prey was a really good guy. He wasn't the smartest person out there. He was pretty good. I mean, in the days of the early 80s, he had figured out, I mean, he was working with soldering irons and computer boards, and he was figuring out how to custom build and custom edit, stand-up video games. He had our garage as a child was filled with circuit boards, and I'm sure an unhealthy amount of of leaded soldering iron, solder, and I really enjoyed playing with all sorts of toys in his garage. His garage, I called it. I mean, it was a family home, but it was Dad O'Pre's work area. Of course, it was also home to our cat, but Dad O'Pre hated the cat, yet the cat wasn't allowed in the house, but it also wasn't a lot. Mom O'Pre was not let the cat have to spend time outdoors if the cat didn't want to spend time outdoors. So the cat kind of lived in the garage, and it was funny to me to see the room that Dad O'Pre worked in the most overrun with cat hair, the one thing he really, really hated. But, that was the thing you did. You were father, and I guess, and so he would make sacrifices. And I'll be honest, I probably over over emphasized, over exaggerated to myself what Dad O'Pre was doing compared to Mom O'Pre, who also was sacrificing for the family. Um, as an adult now, I understand that besides all the stuff Mama Pray did as a mother, she also put in a whole lot of time working her jobs to keep the family running financially. That's amazing. But as a kid, I saw my dad working a lot, and he was working with his hands and building things. And it just looked, to me as a kid, it looked more of a job than Mama Pray, who would go to an office or go to a school and work and come home. It just, I'm sorry, Mama Pray. I didn't give you, baby, the credit you deserved. But I remember watching Dad O'Pre cut up his fingers because he was trying to pull something apart in a game, and his hands got cut and he was bleeding, and part of me just saw the pain in his face when that happened, and the result, which was bloody fingers. And I'm sure the pain went away in a few seconds, and he just had to deal with scratches. But as a kid, and you see your dad get physically hurt, and I'm thinking, why? Why is it that somebody it just felt wrong that somebody should have to hurt themselves to make money for their family. Felt wrong. Qapla, Mikey Sues, who just finished their stream. Happy Father's Day to all of the O'Prays. Thank you, Mikey. Arabic says, tell us a Dad O'Pray tale, like the boat story. Oh, the boat story. Yeah, that was the quick one of that was. In the later days, Dad O'Pray's eyesight was not what it used to be. He had a pretty big cataract before he had his surgery. And we went out on 4th of July night with the boat, and we headed out to see the fireworks. Never got nearly as close to Manhattan as we thought we would. It took way too long. We managed to find a nice firework celebration off of a part of Brooklyn, and we ended up turning around, heading back to the yacht club we left out of in southern Brooklyn. And I wasn't driving the boat. Dad O'Pray was driving the boat, and I had friends on board. It was me, Dad O'Pray, and like 4 or 5 friends of mine who all decided, hey, let's go out on the boat for 4th of July. It was a really last minute thing. We weren't planning. It was that day we put it together, and the boat wasn't quite 100% ready for travel, to the point that like the night of, I actually was at like CVS picking up like extra flashlights to put to tape, extra like dome lights to tape to the boat, just to have, because yeah, it's a pretty big size boat as boats go. I mean, it wasn't a tiny boat. It was a 30-foot vessel, 34 maybe, something like that. It was, it easily held 8, maybe like 8 people. It wasn't a rowboat. It was an actual, covered boat with a cabin and a bathroom. I mean, it had like little appliances. None of them were hooked up, but it had them. Anyway, point is, I always hated the fact that you had to keep so away, so far from shore when you were going places. You couldn't like get anywhere close to the shore. And this evening, after watching the fireworks, Dad O'Pray is driving the boat, and my friends are all talking, having fun, and I'm facing backwards. I'm not looking forwards. I'm on a chair facing backwards, And I look out to my side, and we are so close to to the to the shore. It's like when I was in Florida and we were in a relatively small boat, and like we were, I mean, the houses were built to the water almost. And like you could almost see in people's houses, like, holy shit, like we're never this close. I was thinking, wow, we must be a really high tide or something to be able to be this safe, this close to shore. I got up, I turned around, I'm looking ahead, and like it's weird because like you would think the jetties would be right in front of us. For those of you who don't know what jetties are, like a wall of rocks in the water to to stop the waves from getting too big. And I'm looking ahead, and I yell, "Stop the boat! Stop the boat!" And Dad will pray. He hears it in my voice without me even having to explain. He immediately brings back the the throttle on the engines, brings them down to neutral, and we start slowing down tremendously, but not quick enough. But thank God he shut down that forward throttle when he did, because if we had hit those rocks at full power, God only knows. God only knows what would have happened that night. As it were, we hit the rocks with just barely the momentum to 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 hit into it. We had already trying to pull out sticks, trying to put them down to avoid us hitting the rocks, trying to keep the vessel from hitting into them. As it turned out, though, we really couldn't avoid it. The water brought us over the rocks, or at least into the rocks, and really damaged our drive, and the boat's engine or whatever. Propellers got really damaged. One propeller was completely destroyed. The other propeller so damaged it could barely run. If you had to keep it at absolute minimal speed, and what should have been maybe a 45-minute ride back to the yacht club was became a 3-hour and 45-minute ride. At times we were going so slow we were actually going backwards because of the tides. The boat couldn't produce enough thrust to overcome the tides coming out. So we had to wait, and then once the tide turned, then we were able to make it again. And I felt so bad for my friends. who some of them at this point were scared. I mean, there were some who couldn't swim. We were like, where's the life vest? I was joking with them at the beginning of the night. You need the life. Don't worry about the life vest. Well, you need the life vest. We'll give you a life vest. Well, by the end of that night, we gave out a couple of life to people who weren't sure what would have happened if they had to jump. Yeah, crazy one. Anyway, the point on that was, Dad, what the hell were you doing? He's like, I don't understand. I was following the same line we went out with. I was like, what are you talking about? The same line we went out with? We were 200 yards further in the ocean, at least. And he's like, no, it's right here. Look at the line. And I was like, that's not the line we went out with. That's the shoreline. He was on the map following the line, but he was following the shoreline. For whatever reason, the fucking map, it didn't have solid colors for the land. It just had a fucking outline of the land. Oh my God. Yeah. He was following the line. It was the shoreline. We love Dado Frey. Dado Frey, though, he was I would say he was moral, but he wasn't. He was not immoral. He was not immoral, but he would do the right thing for his family or his friends 1,000, 1,000,000 times over. If you were related to him or you were friends with him, you could not have a better person on your team. And anybody who knew him is better, I believe, for having known him. Perhaps not Mama Prey, but anybody else for sure. He was the person that when the no friends left, you still had him.
He would make the right decisions in a situation, even at, what's that word? I lost it. That even if it meant hurting himself.
Oh yeah.
If he thought it was the right thing to do. I will give an example without,
Mhm.
It was a business. He was partners in a video game business with what turned out to be not such a good friend. But anyway, his brother was also just starting out in the same business. And he had a partner also, not Dado Prey. Well, Dado Prey and his partner came across a stop that wanted video games.
A stop meaning a business.
A business, yeah.
A bar.
Yeah, back in the days, it was
a local bar.
Yeah, it was a local corner bar, and Dado Prey said, I think I should give this stop to my brother. And I said, why are you giving away the whole stop? Go partners with him. He said, no, I've already got this guy as a partner, and my brother's got this other guy as a partner. Let me just give it to them. Like I said, to the detriment of himself.
Yeah, this was a particularly lucrative.
What turned out to be a very lucrative stop. Yes. And I was always the one like, well, you know, you're going to give something away. Hold a little bit for yourself. Make a deal, not steal. Just, you know, like, you know, I'll give you this. You give me 5%. Whatever. Not that I'm any better than he was. I'm not. I'm a horrible business person. But that was that. And he said, no, it's my brother. He's just starting out. And he was, and he did. And his brother's business went up as Dad O'Pre's business went down. But he did the right thing. And there are many more things like that. And you know what? His son grew up just like him. It's Mom O'Pre that's got the I don't trust anybody. I don't. Except my children. And of course, Charlie. But Dad O'Pre, yeah, he would never do anything to hurt a friend.
Or a relative.
Or a relative. And he wouldn't purposely do anything to hurt his immediate family, though sometimes some of his decisions did.
Yeah, and
yeah,
to be honest, some of his decisions hurt us because he wasn't going to risk hurting friends and family.
Yeah.
Even if perhaps he shouldn't have. I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, you could not have hoped for a better friend or family member than Dad O'Pre. DJ Play Nice is stopping through to say Happy Father's Day and a bump to the algorithm. Thank you, DJ Play Nice. Says you all be safe, have fun, happy Father's Day, and take care of your crew. And rock. Thank you. Eric says full reverse. And then the Jaws music started, says Mike Richards. Dun 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 dun. I don't know. Is that the Jaws music? Oh my God, that night. Oh, what could have happened? I don't know, maybe what should have happened. We had hit that at full speed. Maybe the boat just would have the propellers would have just been ripped off the bottom of the boat. Probably wouldn't have cracked. Probably would not have cracked the hull. And even if it did, we were probably in such shallow water that if we did sink, we'd probably just be able to walk to the shore at that point. But who the hell would want to get soaking wet? And those fucking rocks would probably be rip the shit out of you in the middle of the fucking night. Not that it was dark. I mean, the sun was down. But the time we would have impacted the rocks was probably around 9 or 10 p.m. at night. whereas coming in under minimal power with only one working engine, that took us till 2 or 3 in the morning to get back to shore that night. And you see the rules for the yacht club was that being a member was in distress, someone did stay at the yacht club manning the radio just in case we needed more help. I had thought that this was worthy of putting in the call and asking the member who was manning the radio to actually come out and assist by bringing my friends back to shore so they could get out of there and leave. And I would stay with Dad and try to get the boat back to shore. But Dad O'Prey didn't think it was that bad yet. So he just asked them to stay on the radio, and we all sat on the boat looking at each other, hoping, and we made it. We did make it. I would not have thought we were going to make it. I thought there's no way this propeller holds out. Because if we had been much longer and the tide shifted again and we didn't have enough propulsion to fight the tide, then we would have been shit out of luck. But luckily we made it. We made it back. Richie Poole says, Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Richie. Mike Richards puts out some roses for Mom O'Prey.
Thank you, Mike.
She says, thank you. Richie says, Derek and I are watching the Diamondbacks annihilate the White Sox on TV. Good times. Good times. Congrats. Mom O'Prey wants to know, how is Derek? Hakeem says, happy birthday. Oh, happy Bird Father Day. Thank you, Hakeem. Sassy did wish me. Sassy did wish me a happy birthday today. I'm Sassy's dad, apparently. So
Well, you should now tell them the story about when we were up in there and Max out on the you had my mother,
I think they've heard that story. Mom will pray the story when we were up at a friend's house on 4th of July. And Dad will pray and this other dad from family friend, my sister O'Prey's friend in school, Mom O'Prey's PTA buddy, husband. They had a nice house on a lake. Not quite the same as the Carogan estate, but it's a nice place on the lake. And they were shooting off fireworks for Halloween, which in the state of New York was 100, not Halloween, 4th of July, which in the state of New York is 100% illegal. You are not allowed to have fireworks in New York. That said, like I said, Dad O'Prey, not the most moral person. Growing up, we had some fantastic displays of fireworks. And growing up, we had the closet in the house, the closet that would start to fill up with fireworks as 4th of July got close. And like Sis O'Prey and I knew if police ever came in the house, keep that closet door closed. Yeah, we knew we weren't supposed to have fireworks. But Dad O'Prey and this other guy were lighting off fireworks, and Dad O'Prey bent over or something, and his pants fell down. He wasn't just in front of like a couple of people. He was in front of dozens. Right. It was the entire community that was there that had this lake, that surrounded this lake. It might have been 100 people. It could have been 100 people. Certainly at least 50. And Dad O'Prey ended up mooning them all, as Mom O'Prey said. Mike Richards is hashtag more jerky for sassy. Gorilla's random thoughts is Qapla bird, Qapla gorilla. Mike Richards is the bird father will make you an offer you can't refuse. Dad O'Prey liked cable, and he didn't like paying for cable. And let me tell you, it was a crazy thing to have every cable channel possible as a teenager. I mean, I knew lots of people who had illegal cable hookups, but generally it was in their living room. They didn't give a box to everybody in the family, including their kids. But I had a box. I'm presuming Sis O'Prey had a box. And then every television in the house had a box. And it was amazing because I mean, besides movies, it got porn. I don't know. Thank you. I don't know what else to say. Did Dad O'Prey really not know? He had to have known. No way he didn't not know. Absolutely no way he didn't.
No.
You didn't know? How could you not know? You never
No.
you never put the channel up to Jesus Christ. Well, I know. I mean, I could hear them talk about it in the boat club at times. They knew what was going on some of those higher channels. Let me just tell you. So Wow. This is interesting. Huh? Yeah.
Do I know what's on this TV that I have?
Well, you don't know how to use this TV because it's a internet television. And no, it's true. But in the olden days, it was channel up, channel down. That's all you had to do. And you certainly knew how to change channel. I would think by accident you would have come across. I mean, there was 24/7, and there was like 3 channels.
Do you think I ever actually put on something I wanted to watch? Okay.
I could see if Daddy was asleep, and you know.
I had a book on the night table, I'll tell you that. I read, but I mean, and I enjoy TV, but I still wouldn't put it on if I wanted it.
The multi-gun man says, Bird. Hey, Bird, how's it going? Happy Father's Day, multi-gun man. I don't know if it applies, but hoping you're enjoying it. Arabic Sanders says, remember the video you shared with us about the worst fireworks accident ever? Um, I do. I believe I do. Daniel's Hot Topics says, Happy Father's Day, everyone. Yes. Happy Father's Day, indeed. You are most welcome, multi-gun man. So, yeah, I mean, Dad Pray didn't like to pay for cable. So I had a cable box growing up that got all the channels. It was not lost on me that, what is it called? The Spice Channel? Spice was, you guessed it. Guess which number? 69. And then when cable boxes were impossible to get anymore, he changed to DirecTV. We had a board system set up that would make DirecTV boxes unlock and give access to all their channels, which again included all the porn channels, which they used to have. I don't even know if they have them anymore. Well, luckily, it wasn't until I was old enough to have to buy cable for myself that I stopped with the boxes, because the digital boxes became a thing, and Dad O'Prey no longer had a connection to get the types of boxes that could work anymore. And the DirecTV, they also updated their system to make the things, the access cards, they couldn't be used anymore. But this time I had a good enough job. I was making enough money that I didn't mind paying for cable. I felt like I was paying back all those years I had made up. All those years I was getting it for free. I didn't mind paying it back. And then after, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, 15 maybe, I decided that that was enough paying for cable. I had made up for paying all those years. I was getting it for free, and it was time to cut the cord. And since then, I've only paid for internet and not for cable. The multi-gun man says, and by fireworks, Arabic Sonder means the explosions from the Karogan bombs dropping on Furryland. Arabic says, "Lo, that was a funny play-by-play when someone ran away with the baby and somebody lost their shoes." Yes, that one. That yeah, okay, yes, I remember that that video. The multi-gunman says, "Generous hot topics." Arabic Sonder, hey guys, what's new? Arabic says exactly. And says Jolan True. Same old here. How are you? Wow. He's rhyming. He's rhyming. I was gonna call one of my cousins. He 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 didn't really grow up with a dad. Had uncles. I was 10 years older than him. And when he's a baby, 10 years is a big a big amount. It's like you feel like you're a different generation, but 10 years is really not a generation. It's half a generation. And the plan was, I grew up with him. I kind of felt more, I mean, he was a cousin, but I kind of felt when he was a kid, I kind of felt like I was a young uncle. He was my nephew. But then when I was getting older and he was getting older, we kind of stopped being as close. And for me, I always felt like it was necessary. I wanted kind of him to be him for a while. Because I felt like growing up, I was an uncle, but I knew that 10 years was not is not a generation difference. And, by the time he had turned 30 and I would have maybe turned 40, well, at that point, I always thought we'd wind up back together doing things again as a family. But this time, rather than being an uncle, I was going to be a brother. But as life's fates turn out, I was not in a position to be in anything. And his life, God bless him, continued on. He got married. He had children. In a lot of ways, I no longer qualified to talk to him about life.
Well, you're still qualified.
He 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 seemed to be doing things from what I could see okay. Certainly I couldn't imagine what I could have provided to him as somebody wasting away on a hospital bed.
Common sense.
But recently, I now wonder if I made a bad decision. By not telling him my intentions long ago. The multi-gun man says, I totally understand that feeling. Oh, it's so unfortunate because if Dad O'Prey were alive, I don't think we'd even be close to where we are. And where we are, frankly, it hurts. It hurts to see family considering doing things that would hurt ourselves, hurt each other. Thankfully, I don't think we're going down that road because Dad O'Prey did at least impress upon his kids what not to do and to only go so far. The line must be drawn here, this far, and no further. But not in the blow up the ship way, in the don't blow up the ship way. Dado Prey loved Piroga. Uh, some of my most favorite recollections, remembrance would be Dado Prey spending a day or more trying to get our old giant red uh, tractor, farm tractor, working in 1904. I don't know about that. I don't know about 1904. Mom would probably 34, very far. Yeah, 34. 34. It's a big difference. 1904, that, Ford had just, yeah, 1934 tractor. Um, you know, get it working, and then he would use it with a brush hog, which is this giant thing they put on the back. Had to be what, 4 to 6 feet wide, and it would just spin and cut grass, but it wouldn't only cut grass, it would cut anything the tractor could push over, which meant trees maybe 2 inches in diameter. That's a serious tree. You just drive over it, and this thing would cut it up like crazy. Um, and I'd follow in the fields. Dado Prey would take the tractor all around, and we had, the property was 300 acres, but obviously you're not mowing 300 acres, but you were mowing 20, 30, 40 acres around the house. And not, I would just, I'd follow behind. In hindsight, probably I'd following too close. Cupped more than once a tiny rock or something, acorn or something would hit the blade and shoot back. And it always missed me, but holy shit. Thinking about it now, it was such luck that it missed me. I was always wearing glasses because that was one of the reasons I never wanted. I tried contact lenses once, and they didn't work out, and I was like, "Fuck this." It was safer. I realized it was safer to wear glasses. I thought of all the times glasses, something hit my glasses rather than going in my eye. I was like, wow, chalk that up for glasses. And yeah, I so lucky to be both wearing glasses and following. I got lucky. I never got hit, and certainly never got hit in the eye. But yeah, definitely loved just following Dado Prey, walking behind him. And you know what? I'm shocked that never, knock wood, never got a tick bite or whatever. I don't know how that worked out. Like, I guess, I don't know. I guess if you cut the grass first, the ticks are all gone. But yeah, I would walk through this. The grass, the trees, everything was cut down. Uh, it's loud. Dad O'Fray tried to get me to ride the tractor, but I did a couple of times, but I never. I mean, it was it wasn't an automatic. It was a manual transmission, so it was very difficult to try to figure out manual transmission on a kid who didn't understand the manual transmission. It was all for automatic. As big a Jeep person I was, I was all about the automatic transmissions. Instead, I wanted to drive the 6-wheel ATV, but that was working even less than the tractor. And the one time I did get to drive it, I smashed it into the brand new Lincoln Town Car and took out one of the rear tail lights. I tried real hard to not get it to crash. I jumped out and tried to push it away with my body, but I was 8 years old. Yeah, I didn't have. If I had been older, another 10 years when I was 6'4" and 300 pounds, I might have been able to stop it. But at 8 years old, yeah, I just couldn't. It was what it was. The multi-gunman says prayers needed. Nothing wrong. I just want to hit the lotto and quit my job. Oh, okay. Although I also want to hit the lotto.
I was going to say.
And maybe we can all prayers we all hit the lotto. Talked to Dad O'Prey once about religion, about God. Said he didn't know. He didn't know if there was a God, but he would be surprised if this was all there was to life. Said he had to believe there was more. Pretty much feel the same way. Alexandra says, yes, let's all hit the lotto so we can have a giant celebration at the first BirdCon. BirdCon would be on a Sunday. Mama Bray would be forced to serve the spam at the first BirdCon. The spam must be eaten. Authentic recreation of the spam Mama Bray saved for us. It wouldn't be BirdCon without spam. Well, how about you surprise us? We don't know if it's old spam. Well, okay, but we've got to give them the out-of-date spam, and they make the decision on which spam they serve. Of course, everybody was rich. I wonder if anybody would be willing to eat the spam at that point. I think a lot of people are willing to eat the out-of-date spam because they're depressed, because they're poor. Don't get me wrong. I totally get it. Like, I'm depressed. That's why I want Doomcock to hit the button, release Harvey. That's the test. The test is people who say yes to have the button pressed. That's because they're generally depressed and they want,
Want to end it all?
they want to end it all. And that's why when Doomcock wants to press the button, that's him indicating that he is in a bad place. But lately, he's even said that Friday Night Frolics is a place for fun. So,
I don't want to depress anyone.
no, we don't want to depress anyone. But
No.
yes, I'm afraid.
I actually have
Yeah.
two things to say.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
About Dado Prey.
Over Mama Bray. Take the microphone.
Hi, guys. First off, happy Father's Day out there to anyone that is a father, is a pet father, who wants to be a father. And happy non-Father's Day to the people that aren't fathers and don't want to be them. But anyway, everybody have a happy day. Seriously, I've been on and off listening to Bird's stories about Dado Prey. And I came across him answering, I only heard part of it, where I imagine the question was, did Dado Prey believe in a hereafter, in a God? Was that?
I was just talking, but yeah.
Oh, you were just talking. Okay, in any case. We weren't, how do I put it? Okay, by religion, we were Catholic, but we weren't church going. But I think we always believed in God. Now, back in 2011, Dado Pray was in one room in the hospital, and Berto Pray was in the same hospital, in another room on the same floor. And the doctors told us that Dado Pray didn't have much longer. He couldn't get that. He was on kidney dialysis, and they couldn't do dialysis anymore. His pressure was dropping too low, and it was his time. That's what the doctors, and we kind of knew they were right. So I was in the room with him, with Dado Pray, and he said to me, "Are you going to be able to handle this alone?" This meaning Bird. Can you take care of him alone? Now, I said to him, no, I can't do that. Why are you saying this? He goes, it's my time. And I said, it's not your time. And he said, the children came for me. They told me it was my time. They came to get me. I said, what children? He says, up in the corner of the room. Look at the ceiling. There's a group of children there. And I said, he goes, right at the ceiling. They're hovering at the ceiling. I said, whose children? What? He goes, I don't know them. There's just a group of children, and they're coming for me, and I've got to go with them. He didn't die right there and then. It took 2 days. But do I believe in something beyond this? I think that kind of convinced me. Besides that, I'm going to go back to 1975 from my own father. He had a pacemaker put in, and the doctors told him, Joe, that was his name, your heart has another 30 years. You're going to be fine. What nobody told him was that his liver didn't have 30 years. He came out of the hospital from the, what do you call it? What I just said, pacemaker. And they were telling him, you got to get up, exercise, walk around the block. And he's saying, I can't get up. I can't. Anyway, he also said to me, and now he's laying on a couch in the house, and he's saying, I don't care what the doctors say. I used the same words. It's my time. Promise me you'll take care of your sister. That was his words. He wound up back in the hospital, and he never came out again. He had cirrhosis of the liver. He wasn't a big drinker. He enjoyed beer, but not cases of it, cans of it. But whatever, he knew his time was coming. And Dado Pray knew his time was coming. And I don't know. It wasn't like somebody that either one of them had a, depression that they imagined that their time was here. It wasn't like that with either one of them. So I do believe there is something beyond this world. And if I ever get my hands on Dad'll Pray again, for dying when he did, I told him I couldn't handle this. But I guess he knew better. I can. Oh, okay. I'm done with my spiel. Take back your mic, son.
Thank you.
Everybody enjoy the rest of the day, evening, whatever it is. You're welcome.
Bill says Qapla, Birdo Pray. Qapla, that's Jedi Bill.
I was just going to say, who?
Jedi Bill is now Outlaw Bill.
Outlaw Bill. Okay, got it.
Arabic Nana says, sometimes I get sad about not being a dad, but then I go to work dealing with middle schoolers.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm good.
Oh, good middle schoolers. Been there, done that.
Outlaw Bill says, love you, Mama Pray.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Pop Culture Curator says hello. Hello, Pop. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Bill, and we're, at the very least, we are pet daddies. Growing up with Dad O'Prey, he was at home, I believe, the best. He was a driver. He was a great driver. There has never been a single person, sorry, Mama Pray, that I truly ever felt safe being a passenger when, as much as Dad O'Prey. Literally, Dad O'Prey, then myself, then Mom O'Prey, a couple other people, and that's it. The drivers I trust, in that order, would be Dad O'Prey, and a close second be myself. And to be honest, later in life, it was myself first, then Dad O'Prey. But for the vast majority of my life, Dad O'Prey, for sure, was number one. He was a commercial driver. He had experience driving the biggest trucks you could imagine, and all the way down to just, a car, whether it was a car pulling a U-Haul trailer or a 18-wheeler. He actually drove a quote unquote mobile MRI machine that they would go to different doctors' offices outside. They would set up outside a doctor's office, and the doctor's office would have all his patients set that day to come get their MRIs taken. And Dad O'Prey would be the one who drove the truck, but in order to reduce the expenses, the guy who owned the company made sure that the truck driver also got trained on how to do the MRIs. So Dad O'Prey was giving MRIs, even though his formal training was only as a truck driver. But it didn't stop him, apparently, from being able to give an MRI exam. And I would hang out with him sometimes because while I was in college, by chance, he was dropping off and picking up and using the MRI truck within, a couple of miles of my university. More than once, he dropped me off at school in this 18-wheeler MRI truck. We'd come down, I forget what the street was, Hempstead Turnpike, this giant road that goes right through Hofstra University campus. It separates the north half from the south half of the university. And we'd just be riding down this road and pull right over, and I'd climb out of this fucking 18-wheeler truck with my bag and stuff and just go in the gates and go to school. It's crazy. And I'd catch up with him later on. He'd be parked outside a doctor's office, and I'd go up on the truck, and I had all these people coming on, most of which didn't speak English. I got to use my very peripheral knowledge of Spanish, trying to explain to people what they needed to put down on the paper, like Feliz Navidad, and then they would understand what I needed, what they needed to fill out. Oh my God, I can't. So crazy. Dad O'Prey, MRI operator. Bob Gold Security, this is Qapla Bird. Love you guys. Hope you are doing well. Thank you. Hope you are as well, Bob. Arabic says, except on a boat. Yeah, okay. That's true. Except on a boat. But on, well, that would be the day, I guess. That would be the day I kind of started questioning. Although, to be honest, for years even after, I could rest. I could sleep if Dad O'Prey was driving, although I wouldn't want to sleep, but I could. For other people, I couldn't. I really just, I didn't trust. I couldn't trust anyone else to drive. That's why I would drive. I didn't love driving. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did like driving. I did enjoy driving. So I guess I can't even. And, that's why I leased a beautiful, very comfortable to drive, QX56. I mean, the goddamn thing was basically a bus. Could hold 8 or 9 people. It could. The whole point of it was to take road trips. And I had it set up with like a custom. I had like fucking extra video game systems that you could plug into all the screens, and it was amazing. It was a good time. I loved driving. I loved riding that New York State Thruway. Dad O'Prey and I would go up to the Adirondacks house. I remember one year, I mean, I was in my 20s. It wasn't like I was a child, but I had, we went up and we, now understand the town of Caroga. You know what it means to me, Caroga. Well, one day, Dad O'Prey is like, you know, I hear there's a place in Rockwood. Let's go there for breakfast. And I'm thinking, what? Rockwood? Rockwood? But we always go into Caroga. What do you want to go to Rockwood? I mean, Dad O'Prey liked to change things up. I didn't, you know. I could have the same thing for breakfast for 6 months, for 2 years, and it wouldn't bother me in the least because I'm probably autistic. Dad O'Prey, now he couldn't go 6 months with the same breakfast. He could go a couple weeks, but so he's like, oh, let's change it up. Let's try Rockwood for breakfast today. I was like, Rockwood, really? Okay, if you want. I gave in. And we went there, and you know, it was different. It was another mountain town, tiny Adirondack hideaway type place. And they had you know, a restaurant that it was like picnic tables inside a building that was also a general store. So like half of the place was eat there and the other half was shop. So we sat down and we had breakfast, and some lady came up to us, and uh, the menu was not a giant menu. It was, you want breakfast? Yeah, okay. So how many eggs do you want? And you want bacon, sausage, or bacon and sausage? Or ham, bacon, and sausage? Okay, bacon, eggs, whatever. Anyway, I ate. It was good. The bacon was so thick. And I don't like thick bacon. Not a fan of thick bacon, but I ate and it was good, and that was it. We got on the road and we started driving home, which, you know, was about a 4-hour drive. Well, about 15, 20 minutes it takes us to get onto the thruway. And once you're on the thruway, you're doing like 65 miles per hour. And Dad's driving, and I am just feeling this. I'm getting rumbles in my stomach. And I'm like, oh no. As we on the thruway for maybe 10 minutes, and I had to pull over at the very first rest stop on the thruway, which is not a good sign. And I run in to the restroom, and I go in a stall. I go in a stall. Oh my God, no. I go in a stall, and I vomit up that breakfast. The fucking miserable bacon and all. And unfortunately, I thought I had made it, but I completely missed. the vomit was all over the seat, and yeah, it and the floor. But I felt better. I felt better. Dad O'Prey came in, and he came in behind me. So he caught up with me, and he was like, "Oh, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I feel better now," but I show him like the stall, and I was like, I felt bad, like, well, what are you gonna do? And Dad O'Prey looked around, and he found the janitor, and he's like, he brought him in to the bathroom, and he showed him the stall, and he told the janitor, he said, my son had a problem. We're very sorry about it. And he gave the guy, I think, $20. And he was like, oh, thank you, sir. And he's like, yeah, we'll take care of it right away. And like, I felt bad, but this guy looked so fucking happy to get like $20 for doing his job. I mean, and just the way Dad O'Prey said, my son, I got chills. I got chills. My son had an accident or a problem. I forget what he said. I was shocked that he wanted to go to Rockwood again the next time we went up, but we did, and I didn't get any bacon, and it was fine. It was just that one time. And after that, I actually started liking Rockwood. Arabic Sana says, Lowell, then you would tell them, yo quiero Taco Bell. No. JP's is Bird trying to hit on the fine Spanish ladies. But where were we talking about Spanish ladies? Oh, in the van, the truck, the MRI truck. No, I wasn't trying to hit on those ladies. They were all older women. Arabic says, yo quiero. Driving is a blast. Yes, JP's driving is a blast. I used to drive my truck or the Jeep, either one, whichever one I had, with the windows down and Frank Sinatra or other Bird O'Prey 5 approved music blasting on the radio. And I always hoped one day I'd pull up to somebody who was also blasting some Sinatra, and I was going to look over, and it was going to be a woman, and we were going to get married and have lots of babies, all named after Sinatra songs. Her name was going to be Mary, and I was Joseph. Flapjacks, I think they called them pancakes. Mike Richards is thick bacon, no silly jokes. JP says, if I was a janitor, I would have puked at the sight of the puke. And Mike Richards says, the tip always counts. Well, it certainly made that guy's day a little better. I guess I could have used the fucking mop and done it myself, but that, let's be honest, that wasn't going to happen. Harvick says, unfortunately, it was just Vic Fontaine in the other car. You know, it wasn't anyone. There was never another car. There wasn't even a guy. But not that it would have wanted it, but there wasn't even another dude singing Sinatra. I mean, nobody else, nobody was singing Sinatra. I got a couple of women in the car with me who weren't completely, you know, weren't completely spooked out by me doing it. But at the end, well, maybe, okay, maybe if they're in my passenger seat and they want to sing with me, that would work. That would be okay. But even that, well, I got close, but close is no cigar. And that's how Bird met Fang Fang, says Mike Richards. If only Fang Fang was a real Sinatra fan. Um, I had somebody suggest I date their sister once. You know, claim that, oh, she's a big Sinatra fan. She may have been, but that was like the only thing we had in common. Like, what's your favorite TV show? Not Real Housewives of what? The fuck is a Real Housewife? I things like that. JP says if you had a fedora on, you would have hit a home run. Yeah. Antiderivative Jill, hello Bird, hello Antiderivative Jill. Happy Father's Day to the fathers in your life. What else? What else? What else we have with Dado Pray? Thinking when Dado Pray was with the other dads on the block or on vacation. I don't know. And I do, Joseph, thank you. My husband is a spectacular father. That's good. Dado Pray is definitely where Ciso Pray and I both kind of reasons why we both fell in love with Karoga. That's why perhaps the rest of the family did not fall in love with Karoga. I mean, that's not to say that there aren't people in the family who enjoyed Karoga, but clearly who had it was a different priority. It was a different priority for Dad O'Prey, who considering, I don't know if things would have just happened different had he been alive. I suspect it would have, because I can't imagine. Although I don't know. I never, I didn't think about it till now. If the Rogan property would have been sold, I let's oh well. Anyway, guys, thank you all for hanging out. I just wanted to get some of this off my chest. The family situation is it hurts. It's we're having some issues, but we'll probably be okay. It stinks, and the wisdom and the clarity that Dad O'Prey had, it's missed. He's missed, and is it wrong? Like, I almost feel like it's too much pressure to expect other people to do what Dad O'Prey would have done. Is it too hard to ask your cousins, your aunts, your uncles to think and say what would have happened if Dad O'Prey was still here? Would you be making the same decision? Is it wrong to remind people how Dad O'Prey helped them in the past? Time to remember that? Is it wrong to remind people? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you again, guys. Mike Richards says thanks for the live stream. You are welcome. And yeah. Have a happy Father's Day, all. Make sure your parents are still out there. You call them, you hug them, you love them. And if they're not, make sure you remember them today. Qapla, bird out.